The land explored by our ancestors extends from Altai to the White Sea. The scientific expedition Trails of Nomads continues to unveil the path of our forefathers. Its leader is a true citizen of the world. He believes, without a deep understanding of the past, there is no future. Each journey is focused on a detailed study of history and culture. Pilgrim of the 21st century, Sapari Skakov, with a team of scientists, has already visited more than 50 countries. Scientists reveal the exciting secrets of the past. Watch an amazing story of a great journey in the Trails of Nomads program. Today's Trails of Nomads episode presents: which animal is considered sacred among both the Pueblo Indians and the Turks? What do traditional Pueblo dance and Kazakh Karajorga have in common? What are the similarities between the petroglyphs in Albuquerque and rock paintings in Kazakhstan? American Indians and Turks have common roots. Archaeologists, paleontologists, ethnographers, craniologists, genetics and linguists have confirmed this. Most of them believe that the Mongolian spot on the tailbone of infants is the main sign of kinship. Both Indians and Turks have such a sign on newborns. Participants in the scientific expedition, Trails of Nomads, are increasingly convinced that this is not an accidental coincidence. The next stop of Kazakhstan scientists is the largest city of Albuquerque in the southwest of New Mexico. Approximately 5% of its population is Indians. Most of them are representatives of the Pueblo tribe. At least 53,000 people live here.
Бұларда тұратын халықтардың Pueblo'ның Pueblo'ның несі мәдениеті.
Pueblo Indians' culture has certain differences from the Navajo tribe, but they have more in common with the Kazakhs. When we met people of the tribe, they greeted us with the words "Karli Tan." In Kazakh, it means good morning. The word "tan" means morning in both languages.
Бұл қалай енді ұқсас келеді? Таң деген сөз. Таң, бұларда да таң.
Pueblo is a group of tribes. It includes Hopi, Zuni, Teva, Hemis, Taos, Keres. All of them inhabited the valley between the Rio Grande and Colorado rivers. The Spaniards came to America. They gave names to each tribe according to their occupation, customs, and traditions. The word Pueblo in Spanish means settlement. Once Indians built multi-story apartment buildings and developed an urban civilization, which they began to call the Pueblo. They resembled fortified cities that existed on the territory of Kazakhstan. The work of the scientific expedition, Trails of Nomads, in Albuquerque began with a visit to the Pueblo Museum of the Indians.
Үлкен мұражайға кірдік. Сондағы біздің байқағанымыз үндістердің тұрмысында ұстаған заттары біздің бабаларымыздың ұстаған тұрмысқа пайдаланған.
We went to a large museum and immediately noticed that household items used by the Indians are very similar to the objects used by our ancestors. Here, for example, is a hand mill, and we make it of stone. But we rotate the upper stone and pour the grain. They do not rotate the stone, but rub the stones, turning the grain into flour. Here's a carpet-making machine. We also have one. They made carpets and felt, just as our ancestors did.
Бізде де сондай болды, оларда да сондай болды. Олар да кілем тоқыды, бізде кілем тоқыдық. Оның сыртында біз кигіз бастық. Оларда да сондай кигіз басқан уақыттар болған.
Main occupation of the Pueblo Indians is agriculture. In addition, they hunted. They were also skilled craftsmen. The wool of small cattle was spun, cotton was grown and weaved. They also used the skin of animals to sew clothes. Much attention was paid to decorating household items. The Pueblo Indians, like the Kazakhs, expressed their thoughts through various ornaments. Particular attention was paid to color scheme. Hopi tribe, related to the Association of Pueblo, used green and blue colors as synonyms. Kazakhs also have the same feature in language. For example, with the advent of spring, both of them say "kokshikte," that is translated as "blue grass have grown," but in fact it means green. Perhaps this is connected with worship of the blue sky, that is, blue color was given special significance. All this once again confirms the correctness of the version. Altai is the ancestral home of the Indians.
Әшекейлерді сататын дүкендерге бердік. Сол кезінде біздің байқағанымыз мынау оюлар.
We went into the jewelry store and noticed ornaments. Kazakhs used ornaments to decorate their products too. For example, the ornament called Qozoqlar muiz. Jewelry of Indian and Kazakh girls are very similar. Almost the same ornament was used.
Әртүрлі заттарда сол байқағанымыз өте қазақтың оюларына ұқсас, оларда да сондай суреттер бар, сызықтар бар.
The scientific expedition team got acquainted with the museum exhibits and noticed another similarity with the Turks. During the dance, Indians put on hats decorated with deer horns. Turks associated the image of this animal with the parallel worlds. That is, after the death of a person, a deer delivered soul to another world. Cave paintings of the Bronze Age feature numerous similar animals. They were depicted looking upward. Scientists call this phenomenon a deer culture. In total, about 1,500 stones with similar drawings were found around the world. Most of them were found in western Mongolia, on Baikal Lake, southern Siberia, and eastern Kazakhstan. The American Indians also honor the deer, and this is directly related to religious beliefs.
Халықтың тарихында өте көп тараған, қалған жануардың біреуі бұғылар. Осынға шейін мысалы мынау Алтайда бізде толып жатқан санаторийлер бар.
Deer is the animal that is most often found in ancient historical sources. There are a lot of sanatoriums in Altai where deer are grown and their horns are used for treatment. These animals are sacred to all Turks and Indians, including the Pueblo and Apache tribes.
Түрік халқына да, оның ішінде қазақ халқына да, үндістерге де, оның ішінде Pueblo, Apache тайпаларына ортақ қасиетті жануар болып есептеледі.
After visiting the museum, expedition team got acquainted with Native American traditional dance art. And this art is associated with the shamanistic religion. Other Turkic peoples have similar dances. For example, Kazakhs have the dance Karajorga. Scientists believe that the dance Karajorga appeared in ancient times, that is, before the Islamic period. Then the ancestors of the Kazakhs were pagans and believed in various natural phenomena, and this dance was a dance of shamans. During their healing ritual, they danced. Over time, the movements changed, but the Indians managed to keep the dance of their ancestors in its original form.
Бізде аз сақталған, бірақ бұларда көбірек сақталған.
Unlike the Indians, our ancestors have not preserved this dance. These dances of Turkic peoples come from Altai. They are preserved in Tuva, Altai, and Yakutia. Some came along with the ancestors of the present Indians through the Bering Strait to America, and it was they, or rather their descendants, who managed to keep all dance movements in their original form. Dances of Indians mostly have very rhythmic movements and are accompanied by percussion musical instruments. Their sounds are similar to Kazakh dangira and double. The rhythm also resembles a shamanistic style.
A social dance for people that we usually dance during feast times and just basically feast times. And then also you have to have a clear heart too when you dance for prayer. You still also pray when you're dancing, even if it's a social. You still pray for your animals, your people, the health. Just basically, everybody. Just make sure everybody's healthy.
Pueblo Indians wear talismans like the ancient Turks. That is, the talisman protects from the evil eye and evil languages. The triangular shape of the amulet is characteristic of both Indians and Turks. People believed in the existence of three worlds: heaven, earth, and the dungeon, which is a sign of Tengrianism. The Pueblo Indians worshipped the natural elements. In particular, they worshipped the sun.
Билеген уақытында мына балалар. Бұлардың мен байқағаным, мына жақ екі жақ қолдарында мынандай бір тіке салған екі сызық бар.
During the dance, I noticed that they have two straight lines on their sleeves. I asked what they're for. I was told that this is a sign. Kazakh national costumes are decorated with the same ornament. The sign went to them from distant ancestors, the Turks. In fact, we are very close kindred peoples.
Қазақтың, түріктің көне таңбасы бұларда да сақталып қалған. Міне, осыған келген уақытында біз өте жақында болып кетеміз.
Petroglyphs on a stone are a proof of historical family ties and the basis for rapprochement of peoples.
During the work of the scientific expedition in the city of Albuquerque, scientists visited an open-air gallery which spreads over an area of 30 square kilometers. In 1990, the monument received the status of national and is now protected by the state. There are hundreds of archaeological sites, about 25,000 petroglyphs. 90% of them belong to the ancestors of the Pueblo tribe. This was discovered by American scientists. The head of the scientific expedition, Trails of Nomads, Sapari Skakov, carefully studied the cave paintings and found some more evidence that the sacred land of Altai is indeed the ancestral home of the Indians.
Біздің Қазақстандағы таңбалы сияқты, міне мынандай суреттер міне көп жазылған.
Tamgalitas tract features many similar drawings. All these are ancient unique drawings. The stones turned black. They are 4,000 to 6,000 years old.
Қарайып кеткен. Мыналар осыған қараған уақытында 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 жыл болған.
These petroglyphs are very similar to the drawings in the Tamgalitas tract. The same method of depicting animals and people was applied. This suggests that the Indians and Turks had a similar worldview. Most of the drawings portray a sun-headed man, petroglyphs in the form of crosses. They are associated with the worship of the Tengri god. A man with a head in the form of the sun is an image of God, and the cross is the main symbol.
Бұлар ерте тұру керек дейді. Күн шықпай тұру керек. Күн шығардың алдында есіктен, бұлардың есіктері күн шығысқа қарап өз тұрады.
The Indians get up very early, even before sunrise. Their doors are located on the east side. Leaving the door, one goes straight east to sunrise. At the same time, one can express wishes, ask God for the health and prosperity for the whole family. And we have similar customs. In the old days, our ancestors, looking at the rising sun and moon, asked God for the fulfillment of desires.
Біздің шешелеріміз күнге қарап тұрып, сондай тілек айтатын. Жаңа туған айға қарап тұрып.
The Pueblo Indians live next door to the Navajo tribe, and their worldviews are similar. They also adhere to the principle Shabike, that is, the principle of life harmonious with the surrounding world. The signs on the stones show this. A lot of petroglyphs are depicted using a circle. There are also stars in the sky. The Pueblo Indians used the polar star as the main landmark that was associated with the iron stick to tie the horse.
Мысалы, қазақтарда темір қазық деген бар. Ол темір қазық бойынша олар мысалы солтүстікке қарай жүреді. Құс жолы дейді. Таң шолпан дейді.
Kazakhs have the concept of Temir Kazakh, an iron stick or a polar star. If you go guided by it, you will move north. This path is also called Tan Sholpan, morning star. Both the Indians and Kazakhs have a common worldview. Stars played an important role in people's lives. Both peoples enter the house with the right foot and step out with the left.
Сол барып, кәдімгі өмірге жалғасады деген оларда ұғым бар. Бізде де үйге кірген уақытта оң аяқпен басып кіреміз, солға қарай бұрыламыз.
During the talks with the Pueblo Indians, participants of the scientific expedition Trails of Nomads drew attention to the similarity of their language with Kazakh. The main part of the tribes included in this association speaks the Uto-Aztec language. Many words are similar in sound and meaning to Turkic. For example, they call cotton and cotton products toki. Kazakhs have a word toku, consonant both in sound and meaning. And this is no coincidence.
Sengi-tang.
They say seni-tan and we say karli-tan, that is good morning. Just like us, they say kosh, that is goodbye. And this is no coincidence. All of these facts require careful investigation. Appearance of the American Indians point on their Asian origin. They have brown eyes, black hair, large cheekbones and teeth. Physiological similarity was also confirmed by genetics. The ancient people found in America and Asia and modern Indians have much in common in the structure of their teeth in their blood. In addition, a spot on the tailbone of a child characteristic of the Turks is also found among representatives of the Pueblo tribe.
Алматы облысында табылған алтын адамның қолындағы жүзіктен сонда салынған адамның басы.
Ring on the finger of a golden man found in the Almaty region depicts a drawing of a human head. Indians have exact image of a man with a similar hairstyle. All this speaks of common roots.
Жай ұстастық емес, ар жағында бір негіз бар, ар жағында бір түп тамырында бірлік бар деген сөз.
Such facts testify to the kinship of the Pueblo Indians with the Turkic peoples, especially with the Kazakhs. Talking about the period of their migration from historical homeland of Altai to America, we can refer to the ancient legends of Pueblo Indians. According to them, they came here from the west 12,500 years ago. During this time, they had to endure many trials, but despite this, they were able to maintain their original customs and traditions.
Әрбір халық тарихта өзінің ізін қалдырады. Ол еш уақытта жоғалып кетпейді.
Each nation, including the American Indians, leaves its indelible mark on world history. Scientists are still continuing their research in this field. The Indians had a written language. They had a high level of knowledge of astronomy. They studied how to care for crops, when to water, when to harvest. They mastered all skills, including agriculture in perfection.
Үлкен дамыған жерді қай уақытта суғару керек, қай уақытта жинау керек, барлығын олар біліп отқан.
During 10 days, the expedition team visited the cities of Phoenix, Tucson, Flagstaff, Page, and Albuquerque. Scientists managed to collect valuable information about the Pima, Papago, Sinagua, Navajo, Pueblo tribes, find out their genealogy, and make sure of kinship with the Altai Turks. For this, DNA samples were taken from the local population for further analysis. Research will be continued.
Олардың көп тұратын жері Аризона штаты, Нью-Мексико штаты, оңтүстікке қарай.
Many people from these tribes live in Arizona, New Mexico, and the southern states. These are Navajo, Apache, and other tribes. Therefore, having arrived in Los Angeles, we visited several more states. These are places of greatest concentration of these tribes.
Көп жиналып, көп тұратын жерлер.
After Albuquerque, the scientific expedition members headed to the U.S. capital, Washington. Here, they got acquainted with the exhibits of the National Museum of the American Indian. They met with local scholars and discussed the Native American culture. The parties agreed on the need for joint research work in this direction.
Біз жақындасуымыз керек, бұлармен осыны ары қарай дамыта беру керек. Ал енді біздің ғалымдарға зерттеу керек ары қарай, өйткені Kazakhstan'ın ғалымдары.
We need to develop cooperation. Kazakhstan researchers are still not dealing with this issue at the proper level. The study of the American Indians' history and culture is mainly carried out by European, American, and Latin American scholars. And in their opinion, all Indians come from Turkic tribes, and their ancestral home is Altai. This is a scientifically proven fact.
Тегі Алтай, Түрік тайпасына жататын Bizde оларда. Ол уже ғылыми дәлелденген нәрсе.
At such moments, it is very important to know your historical past. It is necessary, first of all, to confidently face the future. Therefore, the scientific expedition Trails of Nomads was created to uncover and comprehend the unexplored secrets of history. Scientists are facing a long journey ahead.